Hi everyone, I'm here with my second of 2 daily videos that I'm doing today that I kind of alluded to in my last video where I showed you how to make the best popcorn in the world because I'm a bit of a popcorn snob. So I'm sorry I'm bringing this video to you a little bit late, but I actually had to do a little bit of prep work for it in order for me to be fully prepared to kind of present what it is that I'm gonna kind of present to you, or just like invite you to participate if you want to, a little bit informally. So I have been doing a little bit of like work just for myself in terms of me trying to figure out ways to hold myself accountable for things that I want to do. Basically, I've been trying to figure out ways for me to set goals and then be better at keeping them. For some people, things like using habit trackers in their planner works. For me, using a habit tracker, it just doesn't work that well. A little bit more background, I work in a field of, part of what I do is I work in a field of consulting called user experience design. And user experience design looks at how and why products or services or any number of things might miss the mark where people will continue to use them or like have positive experiences in order for them to like return to them or, all of that. So I have been thinking really critically about myself and like why habit trackers don't work for me, no matter how much I try and use them. And I figured out that like for habit trackers, it was kind of complicated, and I'll get into that in the video. But what I did is I devised, just thought really critically and devised and designed a way that I have discovered through some real trial and error that actually works for me, that is going to help me to track my habits in order for me to meet my kind of larger overarching bigger goals in like the big picture. And I wanted to share that with you just in case you've been trying to use habit trackers, or you've been trying to like do some goal attainment and you've just like not really kind of gotten things the way that you want them to. I don't know how to put it, but so here's a little bit of a clue of what I'm going to show you. This right here is a handmade book. It's a 3-dimensional cover, but this entire book right here, see that? It's like a bound book. I made this book entirely because I'm a working artist. I do like product development and design and user experience design, all sorts of things. And I'm formerly an art teacher. And so I made this book. I really love bookmaking. Bookmaking is an art. And I made this book a while ago and just kind of held on to it because it's just like what I do sometimes. And earlier this week, I kind of got this idea of how to manage to do like habit tracking for myself. And that's where this book kind of comes into play. So if you are interested in seeing how this book, this handmade book here, and I just kind of gave you a little bit of a peek of like what's on the inside, how this, I kind of feel like is going to help me to better track my habits and then help me to kind of get my goals or get my goals. I don't like how that sounds. Just attain my goals, I guess you could say. Then stick around for the video, and I hope that what I have to share for you is inspiring, or maybe helps you to see things in a different light. And maybe if you want to join in with me a little bit informally, then I invite you to do that. So let's go ahead and watch the video. Okay, so this book right here. I made this book by following a tutorial of another YouTuber by the name of Sea Lemon, and she's really into bookmaking, and she's just like the coolest person. I just really like her. She has one of my favorite channels here on YouTube. She does a lot of DIY stuff, and I will link her information in the description of this video. For this book is, you can see it's like a bound book. This is entirely handmade. You can see there on the top, those are called signatures in bookmaking. That's just like all the little booklets that come together to make just like a larger book here. And then I did some mixed media kind of art, kind of sculpting, I guess. It's this is called like kind of relief sculpting, meaning it's artwork that kind of projects from like the surface. So it's three-dimensional, it's textured, and it's supposed to look a little bit like clouds. And then when you open the book, it has none other than a silver lining here. And what this book is going to be, and it previously was a blank book, so this is an idea that you can do with a blank book. Like, you don't need to make a book. If you want to, then like I said, I will leave the information in the tutorial for Sea Lemon in the description of this video, so that you can maybe like try bookmaking and see kind of how cool it is. So, okay, so there's that. So this book, it's got a silver lining, and the idea, of course, is that, you know, clouds, every cloud has a silver lining. And this is going to be my book that I'm going to use as a habit tracker. Or just like a way to, I don't want to say habit tracker, but just a way to like chronicle and kind of document goals that I have. And they're like simple goals. One thing that I discovered about using habit trackers in my planner is that I feel like they're not descriptive enough, like the way that they look. Like they're too plain, I guess you could say. I'm a really, really visual person. I can't help it. That's just how I am. And I tend to like things that like things in my planner. So planner stickers. I tend to like die cut stickers, or just stickers, different elements, visual elements that communicate visually what it is that they're like trying to document or something. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, if it's going to be a coffee date, I much more prefer it to be like a tiny die cut cup of coffee than it be like the word coffee date. It's okay for it to like have a little coffee cup and then have the word coffee date, but I just much prefer to have like object stickers or just like little tiny pictures in my planner, because for me, I'm a visual person. I'm big on visual literacy. That means like reading pictures. The way that my brain just works, because I have talked about this before, I manage a reading disability like dyslexia and also ADHD. So for me, the way that my brain works, the way that I process information, and the way that actually by and large most people do, is we process reading pictures. So that's visual literacy. We process pictures, and people think in pictures 3 to 5 times faster than when you think in words. People who do not have the challenge of managing dyslexia, reading disability, they think in words more often than they think in pictures. But when you think in pictures, it just adds a whole different level of complication to trying to read. So like, even when I write things in my planner, it works for me to write things in my planner for me to like manage the plans that ever I might put in the page. But in terms of me putting visual elements there, it's actually a lot better for me to draw my plans or to use tiny little pictures in my planner, because I just am more likely to like remember what it is that my plans are. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. It connects to like neuroscience and just like functionality and different modalities of learning, and this is all educational like psychology jargon, but we can talk about that in a different video. So, going back to this book, and I promise this connects to the book. So this book here, this cloud book with the silver lining that I made, and it has that triangular thing just because that's the end sheet. And when I previously made this book, I kind of messed up the design of it, and I like hacked it, so I just tried to like make something work, so I made it into a triangle shape. I am calling this the well-to-do book. And I wrote July of 2016 there at the bottom. This is going to be a little bit of like a to-do book for me, but I'm calling it the well-to-do book because the phrase, or just the I don't want to say the concept maybe, but just the phrase of well-to-do, classically, you or I, we might have heard of that before and thought of that. Like, well-to-do is a way to explain someone who is wealthy maybe, who has a lot of means. And I like to think of phrases and things in a more big picture sort of a way. So when I think of well-to-do, and I think of wealth, or just wellness, or just like greater resources, I actually don't necessarily think of people who like have a ton of money and who are like classically like rich. I just don't think of someone who's well-to-do as being like that. I think of someone who's well-to-do as being like someone who kind of has their stuff together and has peace in their life and is happy with what they have, because they know that having that is enough. It's like more than enough. They do not suffer on the daily by like comparing themselves. That whole saying, comparison is the thief of joy. That is not something that like steals away any of their wellness, their well-to-do-ness. So what I have done with this book is I've taken the phrase well-to-do and I've put a spin on it to kind of change how I think, so that I remind myself that like what I have, like people are more important than things, and the things that I have in my life, they might not cost a lot. They might not be tangible things, but they add to the wealth, the richness of my life, which I feel like, at least for me, that gives me a great deal of life peace and planner peace. Like it makes plans that I have less daunting. It makes me a little more ambitious to like go in kind of bold directions. So that's why I'm calling this the well-to-do book. It's called a book, of course, because this is a book. I would just as well put this in my planner, but I kind of like the idea of like putting this in pages of like a blank book. If you're a stationery nerd like me, then you might have like a ton of blank books, or you just are really drawn to the idea of blank books, and I totally get that, because blank books, they have a suggestion, just a meaning, a symbology of like, fill the pages of this book. It's like a fresh start. I think that's why actually new planners are so exciting for people. Such is the same for blank books. So you like, if you're not into bookmaking like the way that I am, you can just go and get yourself like any old blank book that you really like and call it your well-to-do book. So this is me tracking things, and let me show you what some of these pages look like. Now I have a ton of like planner things, planner stamps, planner stickers, and I have been trying so hard to think really creatively and really out of the box to try and come up with an idea to make full like use of all of these things, so that I don't have to do things like destash. Because while destashing is great, it works, for me what is better is for me to like look at what I have. It's creatively challenging for me. It's just a lot better for me to do that. It works better for me to look at what I have and try and see how I can work within the confines of that in order to just be creative. So what I've done is I've taken my planner stickers, my scrapbook stickers, my washi tape, my planner stamps, and I have made each page in this book a tracker in a visual sort of a way. So what this page is going to be, and you see that the opposing page is blank, it's because I'm going to take my my Polaroid zip printer, and I am going to try and put like Polaroid pictures on the opposing page that help to illustrate the successes that I found in my tracker. You might recall by looking at my Instagram that I've been doing some art journaling, but instead of me doing it in like a traditional way, like on a tracker, I'm using a stamp from Sweet Stamp Shop that looks like a little watercolor box, and I'm coloring in all the little colors in like the watercolor pan as a way to do tracking of me doing art journaling. And I have not been able to do this in a long time, but I have managed to do art journaling for all of the days of this past week. And I really and truly think it has something to do with the fact that I'm not using a traditional tracker. I'm not using one that's dated. I'm using a picture and I'm gradually coloring it in. And that is like strangely motivating for me to just keep doing art journaling. So in thinking about that and the way that that's really worked for me, I thought maybe what I need is like little pictures to color in and like smaller amounts and not make them dated, because it keeps it a little more interesting for me. So one thing that I really want to do, and so this kind of indicates that, is I really want to try here in Washington, D.C., because Washington, D.C. has a ton, like Washington, D.C., and Maryland, we have a ton of really great like local coffee shops and things, and I would love to try more local coffee shops and just like get out of the house more, because I have a tendency to kind of like pull away from the world and be happy with that, because I, surprisingly enough, am actually like quite the introvert. I have like, I don't know, I'm just like an introvert. My husband is the same way, and we always talk about how we need to get out more. So this is just like a 3-item tracker, and this is another Sweet Stamp Shop set. This is like coffee. I don't remember the set. And I use little tags there from Simple Stories for September, October, or November. And my goal that I'm kind of setting for myself is that I'm going to be able to like color in each of these little coffee house stamps, pictures, every time we go and try a new coffee house. Plain and simple. You'll notice one of the stamps, like, it didn't come out that well. Another thing I'm trying to deal with is like my insistence for like to be a perfectionist, especially on my planner pages. So I'm trying to kind of let that go, and like doing it this way in like an artistic kind of visual creative way, I think is also going to challenge me in like feeling like it's not that big of a deal if you end up like coloring outside of the lines. I don't know if everyone else has that problem, but I have that problem, and I'm like trying hard to overcome that because it's just kind of lame. Like, it holds me back from doing all sorts of things by being like overly perfectionist about things. So that's another thing. Here's another page in this book. This well-to-do book. Instead of, you can call it your well-to-do list. Like, you could just do like a page in your planner if you wanted to. So here's another one. I used city-themed kind of washi tape there, and this is another kind of planner stamp from Sweet Stamp Shop. And then I used a stamp at the top from a Tim Holtz set. And then I used scrapbook stickers from Simple Stories and these little bears that look kind of adventurous. I really, really want to do some like urban exploring, like urban trekking with my daughter, so that we can do some like homeschool field trips. So this is going to be a really, really fun kind of page for us to fill in, to take like 4 field trips, and then we can put pictures on the opposing page of our field trips, just to document like us trying to do these field trips. And Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, Maryland, like the region where I live, there's so many great things to do with kids, and so I have not taken full advantage of that, and I just really, really want to do that. So that's like another one of my major goals, and one that like my husband and I have talked about in like us making the decision to homeschool my daughter, that like we just really, really want to do that. It's important to us. It's going to be a great learning opportunity for her. So that's another page in this well-to-do book. Okay, and it's going to add to like the overall wellness and just like wealth of knowledge and just richness of like our homeschool life, just like me as a homeschool mom, a working mom. Like, it's going to achieve all sorts of like far-reaching, long-reaching kind of big picture goals that we've had. So here's another one. This is supposed to look a little bit of like an envelope, like an airmail envelope, and then you have washi tape up there. I want to send like just personally more happy mail to people like in the planner community, people who I've made connections with. I really loved doing snail mail, like the whole snail mail revolution thing, and doing happy mail. So I just wanted to make a personal goal to just do more like snail mail exchange. So I made this up. I used, again, planner stamps and made it look like an airmail envelope using washi tape that looks like kind of like the classic airmail striping. And there's just 4 opportunities of like little washi roll kind of stamps that I can color in when I send out happy mail. And you know, a 4-item like to-do list or like goal list, really not that big of a deal. Easy as 1, 2, 3, and then like a bonus number 4. So that's another reason why I'm doing this. Like, I have all these planner stamps, and some of them are really, really gigantic, and so I wanted to find a way to use them other than just making like cards and things. Here's another one. There's a lot more stamps on this one. So this one is like Kiss Kiss, and it's using a little bit of like the science stamp set from Sweet Stamp Shop in a different way. My husband and I are terrible at going on date nights. We just are. I mean, or just like, we'll do kind of date night in, which is fine. It works for us. We're very, very budget like conscious and everything. But like I said earlier, like, we need to get out, and we've talked about how we need to prioritize doing date night, and we just have not done that. So it's hard for us because we don't really have family that lives super, super close to us, but on the occasions when he does get a night off from his work as being a professional chef, and he like rarely gets that, we just need to prioritize date night. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 of those. And we try to think about like how date night, or just like doing a day date, it can be really simple and really cheap. So I have on here this this setup where we can color in little kind of guys. It says OMG. And then I used a chemistry set, like, you know, just like the chemistry between us, like personal chemistry, that I'm going to color in those when we do our like day dates or date nights or coffee date or whatever. So I guess technically I could do like double duty and like color in this and then color in the coffee house one. I don't know if that's cheating. I don't really care. I'll do it anyway. You know, this is like not supposed to be that serious. Okay. This one is like gonna be kind of an easy one for me to do because I've mentioned it before. I do this thing in my art journal called Pineapple Moments, and so I put a lot more. These are like markers again from Sweet Stamp Shop. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them on there. I already do like Pineapple Moments on the regular, and that's just like a little bit of a play on like the whole kind of trending thing of like wear a crown and be sweet on the inside. So what I do is I do a journal page called My Pineapple Moments where I just kind of like record times when I just felt confident and like I was kind of keeping to that goal. So that's that one. That's, I don't want to say it's kind of cheating, but it kind of is since I already do that, but I figured I would put that in here anyway. And when I color in these little pictures, I'm actually going to try and date them too. And that goes for like all the pages. Here's another page. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 more pages to show you. Okay. And I'm going to just keep going with this and like just, you know, keep going with this. Like, why not? And try and fill this whole book. It might be kind of fun. Okay. So I've talked before about how I am working on illustrating a book for somebody. And I really, really, like, I really need to like be a lot more, I don't want to say regimented because that just sounds so crazy and like rigid, and I just hate that, especially when it comes to artwork, but I just need to be a lot better about trying to keep on that. I think doing the art journaling and everything is going to help me, but I think that doing this tracker is going to help me also. So what I did is I used kind of like a little reminder that says vacation, so that I'm trying to do some user experience design on myself to say like, look, think of doing book illustrations and doing artwork for this book as being a little bit of like your own vacation, like in the middle of the day. Because honestly, I love creating artwork. I love original artwork. And once I sit down and do it, it's great. It works for me. It's awesome. It does great things for me, for my spirit and just like motivating me. But sitting down and doing it is really, really tough for me to do, just because, you know, I'm doing the work from home mom thing, I'm doing the homeschool mom thing, and it's hard to like stop doing the mom thing to do like other things. So this is a little stack of books with like a little coffee cup on the top, and then I use Simple Stories kind of scrapbook stickers there, and I put a little like sheep and kind of rainbow at the top to kind of make it look like, I don't know, grass and then like sky with rainbows. And so there's that page. Here's another one. And this is Dream Catchers from another Sweet Stamp shop. Sweet Stamp set shop. It's the end of the day. I'm tired. Sweet Stamp Shop set. Okay, there we go. So they're Dream Catchers, and then this is washi tape that looks a little bit of like kind of romantic book, and then it says, you know, it has like a book sticker that's like a Target kind of teacher sticker. And this one, I don't know what I'm going to use for this one, but I did it because I just kind of felt like I needed to do something that just, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what I'm going to use for this one, honestly. I set this one up, and I think I had like an idea, and then I didn't write it down. I should have written it down on my planner, or I should have just written it down here, but it'll probably come to me like later on this weekend or something, and then I can tell you guys, or like on Instagram, I can like tell you guys on Instagram something. Okay, and then the last page that I have, and there's a lot of pages here, so there's a lot of pages to fill up, but this is the last page that I have to show you. This is washi tape that's supposed to look like tree bark, and then like washi tape that looks like, of course, the foliage of the tree, and then there's 2 butterflies, and it says family outing, and these are all scrapbook stickers and stuff. Vacation. I am a city person. I'm like a city girl. I like the urban kind of thing. You know, I'm a city girl. I can't help it. But one thing that my husband and I have talked about doing that we really want to do with like our dogs and our daughter, And I just realized I always mention my dogs before my daughter, and that's totally weird. Like, I don't think that my dogs really trump my daughter, but we're obsessed with our dogs in this house. We just are. I'm a dog mom. I mean, honestly, like, when I go pick up my daughter tomorrow, or like when I see my daughter on Monday, because I don't actually think I have to pick her up, and this is like not information that you guys even care to even know. But even like my daughter, when we go to like get her from her grandparents' house, the first thing she does is she does not like hug and kiss us and say like, "Hey, we're happy to see you." Like, "I'm happy to see you." The first thing she says is, "Where are the dogs?" Like, okay, no, hi mom, hi dad. Anyway, okay, so we're obsessed with our dogs. I put little paw prints there, planner stickers. Sorry, I got a little bit off course there. So these butterflies, these are Michael's Recollections clear stamps, and I like haven't known what to do with them. But what I'm gonna do is I'm thinking like change is good, like change of scenery, butterflies change, get out there in nature. My husband and I have talked about how we want to take a family vacation and we want to go camping. And it's been hard for us to like manage our schedules for that. And then we slowly have been trying to like amass gear to go camping. And then we're like city people, so of course we have like incredibly unreasonable expectations for like what camping should look like. I mean, it's probably closer to like glamping, like glam camping. Kind of embarrassed that I'm like admitting this, but whatever. I like admit everything to you guys, so it doesn't matter. But we want to go camping as a family outing. We need to get out there in nature and do camping. And so that's what this page is about. Like, I put 2 butterflies there that we will color in, and we will try and get out there and do like a camping, like a night out camping, or just like a camping trip as a family. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 pages. 8 pages in this The Well-to-Do book. So there we have it. And that's how I'm going to try and do some habit tracking and like goal attainment. And yeah, so that's that. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I explained things well enough. I know it's a super abstract idea and like a super abstract and out of the box way to like do this, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I've been really trying hard to think of like ways to kind of challenge myself and just change the whole issue that I was having, like change the experience, because that's what user experience design is about, and that's what I specialize in, like doing consulting work and everything with businesses, with brands, with like whatever. So because a user experience, or like a consumer experience, because that also goes along with user experience, it very much affects whether or not people will like come back to your business or use your product or not. So I did some user experience design on myself in me trying to like do better with goal attainment. So that's what this video was about. And like I said, I hope that I explained it well enough. It was really out of the box and everything, but maybe you might want to try to do like a well-to-do list, or like a well-to-do book, like you can get yourself a blank book. But I thought that this was kind of like a cool and a fun idea, that it does have to do with planning, but it's just planning in a different way. So that's it. That's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will try and like give you all updates here on my channel, and then also definitely like on my Instagram and everything. Like all my contact information, of course, is always in the description of every video. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those down in the comments. You know how I love to like interact in that way. And that's it. That's it for this daily video, the second daily video. So, and I'll do another one tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow's will be about. Probably about planning. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, for giving me more of your time today. I hope you enjoyed this and maybe were inspired or amused. And that's it. I will see you in tomorrow's daily video. Bye.